Good evening and welcome into Langhorst Field here on the campus of Elmhurst College, where tonight it's a CCL crossover game between the Brother Rice Crusaders and the St. Joseph Chargers. Hello, everybody. I'm Connor Klingon, and thank you for joining me once again here on Arena Sportsnet Chicago. And as always, we'd like to remind you that tonight's game and all St. Joseph Chargers programming is presented by Meatheads in Elmhurst, a place you can enjoy with your whole family from the moment you walk into the door until the moment you leave. Meatheads at 143 North York Street in Elmhurst. Well, folks, St. Joseph enters this game at 3-3. They need 2 wins out of their last 3 games to clinch a playoff spot in Class 2A in the IHSA, and they'll face a very tough challenge tonight in the Brother Rice Crusaders. Definitely the toughest game on the schedule. Don't let the Crusaders' record fool you. They are 1-5, but this is an 8A school who last season had 9 wins. They have 5 losses this year, but in 4 of those games, they led in the fourth quarter. Not to mention, the losses come to schools such as Crete-Monee, Montini, Marist, Mount Carmel, and De La Salle. Some of the best teams in the state of Illinois. So certainly, although Brother Rice is 1-5, it will be a major challenge for the St. Joseph Chargers. But head coach Rich Petrosky feels his squad is up to it. He said last night his team doesn't pay attention to who's in the red, who's in the blue. They don't look at that. And, you know, the blue division is known throughout the state of Illinois. But Coach Petrosky has confidence in his team to be able to play well tonight and pull off what would be an upset victory in the eyes of many. And the Chargers also have revenge on the mind after last season. Brother Rice beat St. Joe 63-7. The Chargers hoping that this game will go much differently. And one thing that could help them is some new uniforms. Coach Petrosky mentioned last night that the new uniforms came in yesterday. The players were very excited to see them, and it could add a little bit of swagger to this St. Joe squad, give them the needed boost to challenge an 8A opponent. And the new jerseys do look great. They're all black uniforms except for they have white stripes on both sides that look like lightning bolts, so resembling the Chargers nickname. And it is a great look with the black pants, black helmets. And also, Coach Petrosky pointed out, in large letters across the front of the jersey, it says St. Joe's. And that's what's important, is representing the school in Westchester. And he wants his players to wear these uniforms with pride. And they will certainly do that here tonight. We're just awaiting the national anthem and also a pregame prayer as well. The pregame clock is down below 30 seconds right now. And once that hits down to 0, we'll have the national anthem and the pregame prayer for you here tonight. A rainy night here at Langhorst Field, and that could have an effect on this ball game. It is an artificial surface, and you know that field turf, it can get a little bit slick sometimes, especially on a night like tonight. It seems the rain has subsided a bit from earlier. It was coming down pretty heavily at moments during the JV game, which Brother Rice took earlier tonight. Chargers looking for that 4th win of the season. They will need 5 to make the playoffs. Brother Rice has been eliminated from playoff contention in the IHSA, but they still will be able to play in the Prep Bowl in Chicago. CCL against the Chicago Public League, and now we will have the pregame ceremonies going out with the national anthem and prayer, and we'll go over to the public address.
Heavenly Father, be with these young athletes as they test their physical skills. Let them play well, but fairly. Let competition make them strong, but never hostile. Grant them the strength to best their opponent and lead them to always help the opponent up. Grant them moments to rejoice, but not in the adversity of others. Help them stay safe from injury, both physical and emotional. Help them to learn something that matters once the game is over. Help them remember that sports are just games. If they know victory, allow them to be happy. If they are denied, keep them from envy. If, through athletics, they set an example, let it be a good one. In the name of your Son, Jesus. St. John Baptist de La Salle, pray for us. St. Joseph, pray for us. Live Jesus in our hearts forever. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, amen.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
And there you have the prayer and national anthem before tonight's game here at Langhorse Field. Nice crowd on hand on both sides. Brother Rice bringing a crew from Chicago coming out here to Elmhurst to watch their Crusaders in action. As I mentioned earlier, this Brother Rice team pretty much eliminated from playoff contention. They do have 5 losses. They would need a little bit of help, actually a lot of help. It would depend on the playoff points, and especially in Class 8A, it can be pretty difficult to qualify for the playoffs. But the Chargers still have a chance to get in Class 2A. They need to win 2 out of 3. And boy, would it help to get one tonight, as they have Leo and then Aurora Christian coming up. But this is undoubtedly the toughest of those 3 games and the toughest game of the season for St. Joe, the biggest challenge that they will face. And you can just see from a matter of the size of the roster and the size of the players, it will be very tough for the Chargers tonight. But as I mentioned, Coach Petrosky believes in this squad and has faith that they will be able to play to the best of their abilities and make this a tight contest, nothing like it went last year. And, of course, last season was the first playoff berth in St. Joseph football history. A great season, finishing at 7-3, with the loss to Peru St. Bede in the playoffs, first round in Class 2A. And tonight's kickoff will be taken by Brother Rice, as the Chargers will kick it off to start the ball game. Couple of men back deep for the Crusaders. Jesse Plunkett. He's actually the lone deep man for Brother Rice. Plunkett plays running back and safety for the Crusaders. He's rushed for 264 yards on the season, and we'll see what he can do in the return game. Zach Ford will kick it off as usual for the Chargers. Here from Langhorse Field. Whistle blows. Ford approaches, and here's the kick. It's a high, short kick. It'll be taken at about the 19-yard line. Evan Sullivan. And finally stopped around the 38-yard line. That was rather Travian Gladney on the return. So Brother Rice will start from their own 38-yard line. Very good field position for their opening possession here with 11:51 to play in the first quarter. It's been a two-quarterback system this season for Brother Rice with John Bean and Evan Sullivan. And Bean will be the starter for the ball game. 3 receivers wide, 1 running back, and a tight end. Bean will hand it off up the middle for a solid gain, probably about 4 yards there. As Davion Irvin Poindexter on the carry. 251 yards on the season coming into the night for Irvin Poindexter, and a 4-yard gain there. They hand it off to Poindexter again, and he stopped in the backfield. Anthony Brown was in there to make the stop. Or rather, it was Malik Mason in there who made the play. Evan Sullivan out there at quarterback for Brother Rice. 3rd and about 5 to go. 4 wide receivers. Sullivan will throw, incomplete. And a flag is thrown late. And this looks like it's going to go against St. Joe. To me, it did look like the correct call, but usually whenever that flag is thrown a little bit later, it can be frustrating. So pass interference going against the Chargers. That will be a 15-yard penalty, giving Brother Rice the first down. And they move up to the 48-yard line of St. Joe with just under 11 minutes to play here in the first quarter. Sullivan at quarterback, 2 backs in the backfield with them, 3 wide receivers. They'll give it to Poindexter, Irvin Poindexter, and he's got the sideline and a first down and more. A flag was thrown. This could be coming back for holding. Let's see the call. It is holding going against Brother Rice. So that will negate a nice run there by Irvin Poindexter. Davion Irvin Poindexter has been the featured back so far in this ball game. Brother Rice does go to a few different running backs. And for quarterback at the time being, they're sticking with Evan Sullivan, but we could see John Bean later in the game. Sullivan in the shotgun, 2 receivers to his right, 1 to the left. They hand it out to Irvin Poindexter, and he picks up about 6 yards past the original line of scrimmage. So it'll be about 2nd down and 9. And they'll actually mark him right at that original line of scrimmage. So it'll be 2nd and 10. Sullivan in shotgun, 2 receivers to his left, 1 to the right. They hand it off again to Irvin Poindexter, and he picks up about 6 yards there. So it'll be 3rd down and 4. Here's Sullivan in the shotgun, 2 receivers to his left, 1 to the right, tight end in there, H-back. And the read option, here goes Sullivan. He picks up the first down and more to the 25-yard line of St. Joe. And really fooling the St. Joseph defense there as they were biting all the way on a handoff to Irvin Poindexter, as that's been the bread and butter for this offense on the entire drive. But on that play, Sullivan pulled it, took it himself, and brings the Crusaders to the 25. Quick snap, Irvin Poindexter up the middle, and he is close to another first down near the 15-yard line. And they'll probably mark him just a little bit short. It'll be 2nd down and less than a yard here. Sullivan in shotgun, H-back in there, 2 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. They hand off to Irvin Poindexter. He has blockers, has the first down, and is to about the 11-yard line. That was actually another running back in there.
First down, Crusaders.
For Brother Rice. So it'll be 1st and 10 from the 13-yard line. They hand off to the left, going for the sideline, and finally brought down.
Williams once again on the
is the running back Williams for Brother Rice. So it'll be second down and about 6 to go from the, looks like at about the 8-yard line. Sullivan in there at quarterback. Williams the running back. 2 receivers to the right and 1 to the left. And they have that H-back in there as well. Sullivan will take the snap, hands it off to Williams up the middle. Williams pushing his way forward near the goal line. And he is brought down at about the 3-yard line. And that may be good enough for a first down. He's slightly short. They mark him at the 4. Third down and a short 2. Sullivan takes the snap. They hand it off the middle to Williams. He leaps. Is he into the end zone? No, he's down just short. He has the first. No, wait a minute. The official on the other side is signaling touchdown. So it's a touchdown for Brother Rice with 8:20 to play here in the first quarter. Or is it? Wait a minute. There was a disagreement here between the officials. The official on the far side of the field signaled touchdown. The one on the near side of the field signaled that he was down short of the end zone. So they'll have a discussion, and they'll just say first down. So no touchdown. Take the 6 points off the board. But it'll be first and goal from inside the 2 for Brother Rice. Sullivan in the shotgun. Christian Rice in the backfield. They give it to him up the middle for the touch, or rather Jesse Plunkett into the end zone for the touchdown. So it's 6-0, Brother Rice. Plunkett came into the game second on the team in rushing yards with 264, and he picks up a rushing touchdown to start the game for Brother Rice on their first possession. They drive 62 yards in 3 minutes and 47 seconds. Extra point attempt now as John Richardson is on. Kick is up and easily good. Very nice kick for a high school kicker there, and John Richardson is being recruited by Division I schools. It's 7-0, Brother Rice. And we'll take a quick break for a couple of advertisements. First quarter of tonight's game is brought to you by Cleaver Supplements. Visit them online at cleaversupplements.com. Cleaver Supplements, pure supplements for when genetics are not enough. Hey, Charger fans, don't forget to stop by Meatheads at 143 North York Street in Elmhurst and enjoy our fast casual family restaurant that serves fresh experiences. Meatheads at 143 North York Street in Elmhurst. Well, we're happy to have Clear Supplements and Meatheads as sponsors all season for St. Joseph Chargers football. As Brother Rice takes the lead on the 62-yard opening drive. So the Chargers will try to respond. Here's the kick. It's a deep kick taken inside the 5 by Zach Ford. No, it's out of his hands and into the end zone for a touchback. And Zach Ford is certainly lucky that there was the high school rules there on the touchback. Not sure if he did touch it, but had that been college or NFL, that could have been recovered for a touchdown. But so it will be a touchback, and St. Joe will start at their own 20-yard line with quarterback Caleb Hayden. The new uniforms for St. Joseph. Couple of number changes, but Caleb Hayden was one of the players who did not change his number. 4 wide receivers out there for Hayden. They send a man in motion, and they'll give it up the middle to Timms here, and he maybe got to the line of scrimmage on that first down run. It was stuffed by the defensive line of Brother Rice. So no gain there for Zion Timms. It'll be second down and 10 for the Chargers. With just under 8 minutes to play, they're trailing 7-0 as Brother Rice scored on their opening drive of the ball game. Hayden's in the shotgun, 4 wide receivers out there. Tim's in the backfield with him. They send Zach Ford in motion to the far side of the field. Hayden facing pressure and fires over the middle. Incomplete. A flag is thrown. Pass interference is what this could be here. Chargers getting a break as Hayden was facing pressure there. The pocket was collapsing, and he just fired it. It was inaccurate, but let's see what the call. And indeed, it is pass interference against Brother Rice. So that'll be a 15-yard penalty and a first down Chargers. And against a team like Brother Rice, you have to take any break that you can get, and this is one, as it will give St. Joe a first down. Brings it up to the 35-yard line of St. Joe here with 7:26 to play first quarter. Hayden in the shotgun, 4 wide receivers, including Amir Berge, who's been moved out into the slot from where he usually plays at running back. Hayden looking deep for Malik Mason, and it's just out of bounds near about the 35-yard line.
Caleb Hayden's pass intended for Zarel Mason falls incomplete out of bounds. Second down.
So it'll be second down and 10 for the Chargers. Well, they took a shot there, and Mason did have a step on the Brother Rice cornerback there, but the throw led him just slightly out of bounds, so it's an incompletion. Second and 10. Hayden in the shotgun, 4 wide receivers. Ford comes in motion across the field. Hayden looking to his left, facing pressure. Now he's going to run right. He'll try to throw on the run. It was nearly intercepted. Jay-Sean Means almost had it there. So it'll now be third down and 10. Well, the one thing that you notice, it's going to be tough tonight for Caleb Hayden to have time to throw the football. But if he does, St. Joseph does have the athletes to be able to have receivers get open tonight. But on that play, near disaster for Caleb Hayden. 4 wide receivers. Hayden in the shotgun. They send Ford in motion again to the far side. Hayden takes the snap. He's going to roll to the near side of the field. He'll just fire it deep. He has Amir Berge down there, but it was nearly intercepted as Richard Sievers closed quickly from the safety spot, and a couple of different Brother Rice players were in there as that ball was lofted high, and it gave time for the Brother Rice defense to converge on it and break up the pass. So it'll be 4th and 10 for the Chargers with 7:02 to play in the first quarter. Punting situation here for St. Joe, and Zach Ford is out there to punt for the Chargers from their own 35-yard line. Ford facing pressure on that punt. Jay-Sean Means will take it on a bounce at his own 34, but he's going to be brought down immediately by a couple of different Chargers. Nice coverage there by St. Joe. And so BR will start at their own 34-yard line. Brother Rice leads it 7-0 with 6:52 to play here in the first quarter. And they bring back out Evan Sullivan at quarterback. We have not seen Bean yet out there at QB. So Sullivan will stick in there. 4 wide receivers and 1 back in the backfield with Sullivan. They'll hand it off up the middle. A lot of space there, but tumbling down to the ground was Christian Rice. Had he not tripped, he may have taken that ball to the house. Instead, it'll be just an 8-yard gain on first down, bringing Brother Rice to the 43-yard line of St. Joe. Rather, the 42. Sullivan will hand it off again, trying to break tackles out near midfield is Rice. He has the first down. So we've seen a few different running backs for Brother Rice so far. Christian Rice, fitting name for a player on Brother Rice, a school that's run by the Christian Brothers as well. We've seen Jesse Plunkett. So it's 1st and 10 from midfield. Sullivan will hand it off to Rice, and this time he has nothing. A couple of Chargers in there. Antonio Hardaway also looked like couple other Chargers got in there for St. Joe. So it'll be 2nd down and 10 for Brother Rice. Sullivan in the shotgun, H-back out there, 4 wide receivers. They're going to hand it off to the right side. Making a couple of cuts is Irvin Poindexter. Poindexter back to the middle of the field, and he is finally brought down inside the 30-yard line at about the 27. What a run there by Davion Irvin Poindexter. Over 20 yards on that run by Irvin Poindexter, and he was the workhorse on the first drive for Brother Rice, and they're going back to him now. 1st down and 10 for Brother Rice. 3 receivers to the right, 1 man in the backfield with Sullivan. And they've also got a tight end in there. And they go with a little trickery here. They hand it off to a lineman, and they're just going with a lateral play, trying to mess around. They fumble it. Who has it? And St. Joe's recovers. St. Joe recovers the fumble after Brother Rice was messing around with a trick play. And it's recovered by St. Joe. There was a flag thrown. It was a legal motion there by Brother Rice, but that'll be declined as it was the fumble recovered by St. Joe. I got to say, I don't know how the coaching staff is feeling at St. Joe, but I look at that play. That play to me looked like a sign of disrespect from Brother Rice towards St. Joe to run that in the first quarter, especially with the way the running backs were looking. But they'll pay for it as St. Joe recovers the fumble. So it's 7-0 with 5:24 remaining in the first quarter. Hayden will take the snap, looking to pass, stepping up in the pocket, rolling to his left. He'll just fire it as he's hit. It was intercepted out of bounds, though, by Jay Sean Means. Both feet clearly out of bounds. So it'll be 2nd and 10 with 5:15 to play in the first quarter. St. Joe's is trailing at 7-0. So 5:15 remaining here in the first quarter, and it'll be interesting to see if this play turns the momentum in this game as Hayden's facing pressure right away. A flag is thrown. We'll see what this is. It could be offsides as Hayden is hit for a big loss, but let's see what this flag is. Oh, it was an illegal formation against St. Joe. So it doesn't really matter anyway. A big loss there for the Chargers. That penalty is declined. So it'll be 3rd down and very long here. 3rd and about 15 here for St. Joe. From their own about 17-yard line. 3 wide receivers out there, 1 man in the backfield with Hayden. 4:50 to play first quarter. Hayden dropping back to pass, facing pressure. They go with a screen over the middle, incomplete, and then a flag is thrown for illegal touching as Shamar McDade Bishop touched that ball after it was tipped. And, of course, a lineman cannot go out for a pass, so that's illegal touching against Shamar McDade Bishop. So that will be a penalty. It seems to me St. Joe's may be arguing that another St. Joe player touched it before Shamar McDade Bishop, and the Chargers coaching staff arguing against this here, but that penalty is declined anyway as it brings up 4th down. So after the fumble from Brother Rice, the Chargers are not able to take advantage. They still trail 7-0 with 4:43 left here in the first quarter. Brother Rice has given St. Joe a couple of breaks, the pass interference and then the fumble, but Chargers haven't been able to take advantage. Brother Rice going all in on a block here. No one deep to return. High snap as well, and it was nearly blocked. They hit Zach Ford. Flag is thrown. This is going to be roughing the kicker here as they went in on Zach Ford. It is a personal foul, roughing the kicker. That's going to be an automatic first down, so another break. But there may be a penalty against St. Joe at the beginning of the play, which could offset. Let's see what the call is here. They're still discussing this. And it was a legal formation before the play. Then the personal foul roughing the kicker. And those penalties offset, so it's still fourth down. That's really costly there for St. Joe. But I suppose the argument is that the Chargers penalty was committed well before the roughing the kicker. So St. Joe still made the mistake before the play, and they'll have to punt it over again. And this time, Brother Rice will have a man deep with Jay Sean Means, who already does have a punt return touchdown this season. Chargers punting from their own 15, and now a timeout will be called. And we'll take a break here for a couple of advertisements. The first quarter of tonight's game is brought to you by Cleaver Supplements. Visit them online at cleaversupplements.com. Cleaver Supplements, pure supplements for when genetics are not enough. Hey, Charger fans, don't forget to stop by Meatheads at 143 North York Street in Elmhurst and enjoy our fast casual family restaurant that serves fresh experiences. Meatheads at 143 North York Street in Elmhurst. Happy to have Meatheads as a sponsor for the entire season of St. Joe football. And right now the Chargers trailing 7-0 in the first quarter, 4:33 left to play here, and Zach Ford will have to punt it again after offsetting penalties on that first punt attempt. It was an illegal formation initially, and then roughing the kicker by Brother Rice. So the Chargers not able to get the break on the roughing the kicker. As I've said a couple of times, Brother Rice has given St. Joe's a couple of huge breaks, a pass interference, a fumble, and then a roughing the kicker. But in this case, St. Joe not able to take advantage. They'll have to punt it again from their own 15-yard line. Ford will take it at about his 2. It's a line drive kick. Means will let it bounce, and then he'll pick it up at about midfield, running the near sideline inside the 40, and he's pushed out at about the 38-yard line. So it'll be outstanding field position for Brother Rice to start this drive. Now, on their last offensive possession, Brother Rice was running the ball with ease, and then they decided to go with one of the goofiest trick plays I've ever seen. They were trying to hand it off to a lineman and then lateral it to another lineman, and it was kind of like a fumble-rooski rugby type of look. And as I said, I looked at it a bit as a sign of disrespect to St. Joe, but it didn't work out. It ended up as a fumble, so it'll be 1st and 10 from the 38, and the snap is low, and Sullivan will be sacked at about the 41-yard line as the low snap gave St. Joe time for that pass rush to develop, come in and get the sack, and Zion Timms was in there first for the Chargers. So it'll be 2nd down and about 14 here for Brother Rice, and now a flag. What's the call going to be here? Oh, it looks like an illegal formation here, illegal procedure against Brother Rice. That'll bring them 5 yards further back. And Brother Rice continues to make mistake after mistake in this ball game. And they're now at the 47-yard line, 3:52 to play here in the first quarter. Sullivan in the shotgun will hand it off up the middle, and nice tackle there for the Chargers, as it was Davion Irvin Poindexter who brought it up the middle. It was Anthony Brown who made the tackle, as Irvin Poindexter had already gotten past him, but Anthony Brown was able to reach out and grab him and bring him down. 3rd down and 14 here for Brother Rice. At about the 44-yard line of St. Joe. Sullivan the shotgun. Looking to pass here, facing some pressure, but he finds a man wide open, and he has the 1st down and a little bit more.
Sullivan's pass complete to number 49, Jack Rice.
It was Jack Rice who made the catch there. And Jack Rice, normally someone who plays guard and center, but there he's out at receiver. Sullivan in the shotgun. 2 wide receivers to his left, 2 running backs in there, and 1 receiver to the right. They'll hand it off here to Christian Rice. Rice has some blockers to it about the 15-yard line.
Number 9, Jesse Plunkett on the carry.
Or rather, that was Plunkett. Jesse Plunkett out there. 2nd down and 4 here for Brother Rice. Just over 2.5 minutes left to play here in the 1st quarter, and they lead it 7-0. Sullivan in the shotgun, 2 wide receivers to the right, 1 to the left. They'll give it to Irvin Poindexter going to the right side, heading for the end zone. Touchdown, Brother Rice.
Poindexter on the carry. Result of the play.
A 15-yard run for a touchdown by Poindexter to make it 13-0. Davion Irvin Poindexter gives the Crusaders a 13-0 lead. And a unique formation here on the point after attempt, and now they'll shift into a more conventional extra point formation. As John Richardson's out there to kick. Made the first one easily. Let's see if he can do it again. And this one is straight through and away over the uprights near the flagpole here at Langhorst Field. And you can see why John Richardson's considered a Division I kicking prospect. And a first quarter that has been a long one for St. Joe as they trail 14-0, but they've had their chances. Brother Rice has given them opportunities with mistakes of their own, but the Chargers haven't been able to take advantage. So Brother Rice will be back on to kickoff. Richardson had a beautiful kickoff the last time. Amir Burgee is deep for St. Joe. We'll see if he can get something going for the Chargers. Burgee now wearing number 2. He's been number 12 the rest of this season, and Zach Ford's also out there in case of a short kick. Richardson approaches, and here's the kick. It's another nice one to Burgee inside the 5. Actually, it backs him up into the end zone for a touchback. So Richardson is 2 for 2 on touchbacks tonight.
On the kickoff, St. Joe's will take over at its own 20-yard line.
Boy, what an advantage it is to have a kicker who can get a touchback as often as Richardson can for Brother Rice.
For the support of St. Joseph High School athletic programs. For more information, contact Gene Higgins.
So it'll be 1st and 10 for St. Joe at their own 20-yard line. Caleb Hayden in the shotgun. 2 receivers to each side with Zion Timms in the backfield. Hayden hands it off to Timms, and no gain there. Just back to the line of scrimmage.
35, Zion Timms on the
So it'll be 2nd down and 10. The running game has not been successful so far tonight for St. Joe. Some difficulty running into that defensive line at Brother Rice. Miles Ruffin in there at nose guard. A big force up the middle. And they're playing a 3-4 defense, is Brother Rice. As Hayden hands it off here, nothing there. Maybe a loss. So the 3rd down and about 12 here. As there's a minute and a half left here in this first quarter. It was Zion Timms again. Obvious passing situation here for the Chargers. We'll see if maybe they go to that screen pass again. That's something they've had success with this season. They tried one earlier tonight, and it was incomplete and ended up with an illegal touching penalty. Hayden's in the shotgun. 3 receivers to his right side, 1 to the left. Hayden will go with a middle screen to Malik Mason, and it's stripped away. Jay-Sean Means has it, and he'll take it into the end zone. Oh, my goodness. What a play by Jay-Sean Means. Whew. A strip and a score for Jay-Sean Means, and that'll make it 20-0, just like that. 55.8 seconds left here in the first quarter. Malik Mason very frustrated after that play as he had the ball just ripped right out of his hands, and Means was able to take it in the end zone to make it 20-0. Heads-up play there by Means. And that's a sign of a good defense. You have the ability to tackle, but when you have that chance, you go for the strip, and he really just stole it right away from him. And this ball didn't even hit the ground. It just went right into Means' hands. He took it for 6 points. It's 20-0. Now they're going to go for 2. Halfback pass, corner of the end zone. Complete for 2 points. That'll make it 22-0. 22-0 with 55.8 seconds left here in the first quarter. And this is not the start that Coach Rich Petrosky and St. Joseph wanted to this ball game, trailing it 22-0. As it was Fitzgerald who had the catch, Joey Fitzgerald, on that 2-point conversion. So a 22-0 lead for Brother Rice with 55.8 seconds to play. First quarter. Richardson's back out there for the kickoff. Amir Burgee is deep for St. Joe. Well, I brought it up a few times, but Brother Rice gave St. Joe's a couple of chances early in this game, and Richardson, whoa, what a boot here. That's out of the back of the end zone for a touchback. You can see why this guy's going to be a college kicker. 3 for 3 on touchbacks, 2 for 2 on extra points, and he has boomed through those extra points as well. Richardson's really been one of the most impressive players, along with Jay-Sean Means, who had that strip and score there. So it'll be 1st and 10 for the Chargers at their own 20-yard line. And so far, the only first down for St. Joe's came on a pass interference call against Brother Rice. Hayden's in the shotgun. Has 3 receivers to his right, 1 to the left. Zion Timms in the backfield with him. Hayden will take the snap. He's looking right. Now he has to move up in the pocket. He'll throw deep over the middle, and it's over the heads of all of his receivers in the defense. So it'll be 2nd and 10. And the score 22-0. Brother Rice with 48.6 left to play here in the first quarter. So 2nd and 10 for the Chargers from their own 20. Hayden in shotgun again. 2 receivers out there to his left, 2 to his right. He's looking right, and this is incomplete. A little bit of miscommunication there between Zach Ford and Caleb Hayden, as Ford was running a different route there than Hayden probably expected, as that ball was nowhere near Ford. 42.9 to play first quarter. 3rd down and 10 for the Chargers, wearing their all-black uniforms with the white lightning stripes. Brother Rice in all-white uniforms with maroon helmets and maroon numbers, orange outline, kind of a Virginia Tech type look. 3rd down and 10 for St. Joe. 4 wide receivers out there for the Chargers. Hayden has time, throws over the middle, incomplete. They were looking for Jesse McDonald there over the middle, but it's incomplete. So another punting situation for St. Joe with 37.9 seconds left here in the first quarter. And a 22-0 lead for Brother Rice. Jay Sean Means back there to return the punt. Standing near midfield. And Ford, the punter, standing at his own 6. Bit of a low snap. High punt by Ford. It'll take it a bounce at about the 47. A St. Joe bounce to about the 41-yard line at Brother Rice. And that's where they'll start offensively with 28 seconds to play in the first quarter.
28 and a half seconds to play in the first quarter.
A tough night thus far for the Chargers.
Become a member of the Booster Club and help us
Going up against an 8A school. A really tall task for a school that plays in Class 2A. As Brother Rice will take over again on offense, Evan Sullivan at quarterback. 3 wide receivers out there, an H-back in there. And Irvin Poindexter takes it up the middle. Or rather Williams, who had it there. Number 29, as Irvin Poindexter wears 20. A little bit tough to tell at times here tonight. And it's a first down, though, bringing it to the 43-yard line. 1st and 10 with 17 seconds left first quarter. Sullivan will hand it off again to Williams. And stopped at about the 40-yard line of St. Joe. And a late flag comes out. This could be a face mask or a personal foul against St. Joe. Let's see what the call is. It is a personal foul going against the Chargers. And you do worry about this sometimes, trailing big early in the game. You have to stay composed.
personal foul call against the Chargers.
As this will be a 15-yard penalty.
To the plays at first down.
And it will bring it to the 25-yard line for Brother Rice. 5 seconds left here, first quarter. One more play for Brother Rice, unless the clock runs out. Sullivan takes one more snap. They fake the handoff to Williams. Little play-action rollout, incomplete pass there, as they were looking for the tight end, David O'Keefe. So at the end of the first quarter, Brother Rice leads it 22-0 over St. Joseph. Connor Klingen here with you on Arena Sportsnet Chicago. And Brother Rice had a little bit of a slow start, but they've really started to heat it up in that second part of the first quarter. The most exciting play of the game was the strip and score by Jay Sean Means. And also with a touchdown is Davion Irvin Poindexter and Christian Rice. Those are the 3 scorers for Brother Rice thus far tonight. Let's take a quick break for a couple of advertisements. Hey, Charger fans, don't forget to stop by Meatheads at 143 North York Street in Elmhurst and enjoy our fast casual family restaurant that serves fresh experiences. Meatheads at 143 North York Street in Elmhurst. The second quarter of tonight's game is brought to you by the Illinois High School Association. Stay in the game. Welcome back here to Langhorse Field. 1st and 10 for Brother Rice at the 25, and it's going to be a touchdown for Brother Rice. That was rather 2nd and 10, and Christian Rice went right up the middle for the touchdown from the 25-yard line, 25-yard TD, the second touchdown of the game for Christian Rice. So it's 28-0, Brother Rice on the first play of the second quarter. I wasn't even ready for the second quarter to start, and just that quickly, Brother Rice was on the board. PAT team is out there for Brother Rice. And John Richardson, the kicker, out there. Here's the kick. It's up, and it is good once again, easily by John Richardson. That'll make it 29-0 with 11:52 to play here in the second quarter. A tough night to be a St. Joseph Charger football fan, as they are trailing 29-0. But again, You have to mention St. Joe at a major disadvantage facing a school like Brother Rice in Class 8A. Coach Petrosky would never want to use that excuse for this team, and he said that as much last night, that his team wouldn't be intimidated, but it's a much larger school, a lot bigger roster, a lot bigger players for Brother Rice. Brother Rice is also an all-male school, which gives them a larger pool of football players, and St. Joe, a co-ed school that is already much smaller than the all-male Brother Rice. Amir Berge will be deep. Here's the kickoff from Richardson. It's another beauty, easily a touchback. Make it 4 for 4 on touchbacks for Richardson, as the St. Joe offense will trot back out onto the field. Well, for the rest of this ball game, there's still 3 quarters left to play. A 29-0 deficit right now, but St. Joe has to make sure to not get down here because they have 2 games left, and they'll still have a chance at a playoff berth. Of course, you could have the miraculous comeback as well, but at the very least, need to keep confident. Hayden's in the shotgun. They hand it off to Zion Timms, and he has a nice gain near a first down. About 8 yards there for Zion Timms. So probably the best running play of the night thus far for the Chargers as Timms picks up 8 yards. It'll be 2nd down and 2 for the Chargers. On their own 27-yard line. Hayden in the shotgun. They hand it off to Timms. Nothing there. Maybe a loss of 1. So it'll be 3rd down and about 3 to go here for St. Joe. Looking to get something going on offense as they trail at 29-0. Hayden's in the shotgun. 2 wide receivers to his left, 2 to his right. Hayden rolling to his right, facing pressure, and he will be sacked. Mark Green and Joe Fitzgerald, was in there on the sack for Brother Rice, so it'll be 4th down for the Chargers. They'll be forced to punt once again. 4th down and 7. A rainy night here from Langhorse Field and a gloomy night if you're a St. Joe Charger fan, as they're already trailing it 29-0 here in the second quarter. Just over 10 minutes left to play here in the first half. Ford standing at his own 10 for the punt. It's a high kick. Means coming on to return it at the 45, makes a cut. He's at the 30, makes another cut back. He's getting dragged around the 20-yard line, and Jay-Sean Means making another exciting play in this game after he already has a defensive touchdown in the ball game. And there with a nice punt return. So Brother Rice will take it at the 20 of St. Joe. Evan Sullivan in there at quarterback. Running back in there with him is Jesse Plunkett. They give it to Plunkett coming around the left side. He has blockers and breaks a tackle. Cuts back towards the middle of the field. He's inside the 10-yard line and near the 5 with a late push. And Coach Rich Petrosky is upset with something here. He maybe wanted a hold, but nothing's going to be called. So it'll be 1st down and 10 for Brother Rice. It'll be at about the 6-yard line, 1st and goal. Sullivan in the shotgun. And he'll fake it up the middle, run it himself for the touchdown. Evan Sullivan on the quarterback keeper. Scores the rushing touchdown. That'll make it 35-0, Brother Rice, with 9:30 left to play here in the first half. Extra point team out there for Brother Rice. It's John Richardson back out there to kick. Here's the kick. It is up and good to make it 36-0. Brother Rice after the rushing touchdown by quarterback Evan Sullivan. And everything has been growing right for Brother Rice since that fumble in the first quarter. A couple of mistakes early in the ballgame, but since then they've been like a machine, making it 36-0 with 9:30 to play here in the first half. Taking a look at some of the baseball scores going on right now. The Yankees and the Indians tied in the bottom of the 10th. 2 down. Cleveland has a man on second. So that could be interesting. The Indians will have a chance at a walk-off hit there. And the Cubs lead the Nationals 2-0 at the end of the 6th inning. Steven Strasburg had a no-hitter into the 6th, but he lost it in the 6th. Back to our game now as Richardson will kick off. Bergie is deep end. Richardson with a low liner, but this will bounce into the end zone for a touchback. He's 5 for 5 on touchbacks.
On the touchback, St. Joe's will take over at its own 20-yard line.
So it'll be 1st and 10 for St. Joe at their own 20 after the 6th touchback of the ball game. 9:30 left to play first half, 36-0. Brother Rice. So it'll be 1st and 10 for the Chargers. Now their own 20. As they're trailing 36-0 here in the first half. And high snap there. And it'll be a false start going against St. Joe. So it'll be 1st down and 15 for the Chargers now.
Temperature's starting to dip tonight. Down to about 64 now, but the rain has cleared.
1st down and 15 for the Chargers. Hayden taking the snap, throwing incomplete as it was over the head as he was looking for Zach Ford. It'll be 2nd down and 15. 2nd down and 15 here as the Chargers trail 36-0 with 9:25 to play in the first half. Hayden in the shotgun. 2 receivers split out to each side. 1 man in the backfield with him. Brother Rice showing blitz. And throwing to Jesse McDonald. It's off his hands near the middle of the field. Incomplete. So it'll now be 3rd down and 15 for the Chargers. With 9:20 to play in the first half.
9 minutes and 19 seconds remaining.
Caleb Hayden in the shotgun, 4 receivers out wide and the 1 man in the backfield. And now an official timeout here for a second as a shoulder pad was loose there for Shamar McDade Bishop. Official came over and fixed it and blows the whistle to restart play. 3rd down and 15 for the Chargers. Hayden in shotgun, takes the snap, looking to his right, going deep, and just overthrows Malik Mason, who actually had a step there on Jay Sean Means. So it'll be 4th and 15 for the Chargers. The punt team will come back out. Fourth and 15 as Zach Ford is out there to punt. Jay Sean Means back to return, and he had a great return on his last one, and he already has a touchdown tonight with the strip that he returned for 6 points. He's standing at the 45-yard line of St. Joe. Ford backed up inside his own 5. High snap, backs into his end zone, able to get the kick away. It's a high kick. Means was calling for a fair catch. He'll just let it bounce. It'll take a Brother Rice roll and land at about the 32-yard line. That's where Brother Rice will start, the 32 of St. Joe, and they have a 36-0 lead with 9:03 to play in the first half.
Running into the kicker called against.
But the call there was running into the kicker against Brother Rice. On that kick. It is not a personal foul, though, as it was just running into the kicker, but they'll redo fourth down here
5-yard penalty.
and move the ball up 5 yards, so it's spotted at the 20, and Ford will have another chance to punt here. Jay-Sean Means standing at about midfield, and Ford at about the 7-yard line of St. Joe. Takes the snap. And this is a nice punt. Means will take it at about the 47-yard line. He has some space down the far sideline, trying to cut back reverse field, and then a few Chargers were in there to make the stop just inside the 35-yard line of St. Joe. So Brother Rice will start in St. Joe territory with that 36-0 lead.
First and 10 Crusaders.
So 1st and 10 for the Crusaders
Charger 32-yard line.
at the 32 of St. Joe. Sullivan back out there at quarterback. 2 backs in the backfield with him and 3 wide receivers. They'll fake the handoff, pitch it out there to Plunkett, and he's stopped in the backfield.
Pitch to number 9, Jesse Plunkett. It's met by a trio of Chargers.
There's a little option read there.
2nd and 13.
They fake the initial handoff to Irvin Poindexter and then pitched it out to Plunkett. Sullivan in the shotgun again with those 2 backs, 3 wide receivers. Sullivan looking to throw now, going deep down the far sideline, has a man there, and it is caught inside the 5-yard line.
Sullivan's pass
At about the 2-yard line, it was Arthur Veal the 5th who made the catch.
inside the 10-yard line.
We haven't seen Brother Rice go to the air too much tonight, but it worked very well for them there as Veal the 5th beat his man, made the catch along the sideline, and that gives Brother Rice 1st and goal inside the 5. Sullivan, and he mishandles the snap. It's on the ground. Who has it? It looks like the Chargers might. Let's see. Who has it? Oh, no, they're going to say Brother Rice was able to recover the fumble as the rain has started to pick up once again.
The Crusaders.
You can see it in the light. But Brother Rice able to recover their own fumble. Sullivan will hand it off up the middle to Williams. Williams spinning his way near the end zone. Is he in? No, he's down just short inside the 1-yard line. So it'll be 3rd and goal from the 1. Sullivan will go under center. Oh, and it's a direct snap. They hand it off to Williams, and he is stopped short of the goal line. He was spun around and just stopped. Shamar McDade Bishop made the play, and Brother Rice and is going to go for it here. Or are they bringing out the kicker? No, they're going to go for it here inside the 1. Less than a yard to gain. It is pouring here at Langhorse Field, folks, as Sullivan has trouble with the snap. He's rolling to his left, looking to throw. Has a man in the end zone. Touchdown. A wide open touchdown pass.
Sullivan scrambles left, finds number 5, Arthur Veal.
As it was caught by Arthur Veal the 5th for the touchdown to make it 42-0, Brother Rice. Here with 6:39 to play in the first half. And a Charger player is having trouble right now. Can't tell who it is over there on the far side. Coach Petrosky's coming out on the field. It's Antonio Hardaway. Or let's see. If it is 71, it's Antonio Hardaway, and that would be a big loss for St. Joe. And he is being helped back to the sideline by his teammates. You really hope the best for him because he's been a huge addition to St. Joe this season, transferring from St. Viator. Oh, boy, this is not a good sight here as Antonio Hardaway is being carried by two teammates back to the sideline. And Hardaway, he'll try to maybe walk this off. And it looks like it may be one of his ankles there as Brother Rice is now on for the extra point, leading at 42-0. In that unique formation, but they shift back into a normal extra point formation. And Richardson's back out there for the kick. And a penalty flag is thrown. This is probably against St. Joseph as maybe encroachment. Well, I can't reiterate enough how much it really looks like it's pouring right now. It's the umbrellas are out in the stands and on the sidelines. And that ball is getting pretty slippery as well as Evan Sullivan had trouble with a snap on the touchdown pass but was able to find Veal wide open in the end zone, and he held on. So 42-0, extra point attempt here for John Richardson. Snap is good, hold down, kick is up, and the extra point is good once again. Richardson is 5 for 5 on point after attempts, and that will make it 43-0. Brother Rice with 6:39 left to play here in the first half. And we'll take a quick break for a couple of advertisements here. Hey, Charger fans, don't forget to stop by Meatheads at 143 North York Street in Elmhurst and enjoy our fast casual family restaurant that serves fresh experiences. Meatheads at 143 North York Street in Elmhurst. The second quarter of tonight's game is brought to you by the Illinois High School Association. Stay in the game. I'd like to thank all our sponsors tonight here on Arena Sportsnet Chicago. As Brother Rice leads 43-0 with 6:39 to play here in the first half. John Richardson out to kick. Amir Burgi is deep for St. Joe. Richardson's kick. Another nice one. Easily a touchback. 5 yards into the end zone. 6 for 6 on touchbacks. 5 for 5 on extra points. Quite a night of kicking the ball for John Richardson. He should definitely send this tape to some of those college scouts. Somebody who looks like a Division I kicker and looking the part tonight is John Richardson. So it'll be 1st and 10 for St. Joe. So Caleb Hayden will take the snap. Hayden facing pressure. He's able to evade it. Works his way out to about the 28. Ball came out, but he was down already. So a nice gain. About 7 yards there on first down on the quarterback keeper by Caleb Hayden. Just over 6 minutes left to play here in the first half. St. Joe trailing at 43-0. As Hayden's in the shotgun, 2 receivers split to each side. Hayden takes the snap, rolling to his right, firing deep, looking for Zach Ford, and it was nearly intercepted by Richard Sievers. But it just goes down as an incomplete pass. So it'll be 3rd and about 3 for St. Joe. With 5.5 minutes to play here in this first half. 3rd and 3 for the Chargers. Hayden in the shotgun. 4 wide receivers. Zion Timms with him in the backfield. Hayden takes the high snap, hands it off to Timms, and he's stretching for the first down. Does he have it? He's just short. So it'll be 4th down. And about a yard here. Chargers trailing at 43-0. And Coach Petrosky wants a measurement here. But they're marking him short, and the Chargers are going to go for it. At about the 29.5-yard line. Trying to get to the 30. Hayden will hand it off. Stopped for a loss, and they will not get the first down. A couple of different Brother Rice players in there to make the play. Turnover on downs with just over 4 minutes left here in the first half. Already 43-0 in this game. Well, it's amazing the spectrum in the state of Illinois. Earlier this season, St. Joe beat an opponent, South Beloit, 69-0, and here they find themselves trailing 43-0 in the first half. Sullivan is in the shotgun for Brother Rice. 2 wide receivers to his right, an H-back in there, and also a running back behind Sullivan in the backfield. They'll give it up the middle to Irvin Poindexter, and he is close to a first down, gain of about 9 on first down. Davion Irvin Poindexter having a nice night running the football. Sullivan will be in the shotgun. 2 wide receivers to the right. 1 running back in there. They'll hand it off to Irvin Poindexter down the far sideline. Touchdown, Brother Rice. That will make it 49-0. Second touchdown of the game for Davion Irvin Poindexter to make it 49-0 with 3 minutes to play in the first half. Richardson is on for the PAT, but as usual, Brother Rice setting up in that unique formation where they have the line to the left side of the field. They'll go back into the normal setup for a PAT, as they have done on every extra point attempt, although they did go for 2 once. Richardson's been perfect on extra points. Snap is good. Kick is up, and it's good. So 50-0 is the score here with 3 minutes left in the first half. It's been a long night thus far for the Chargers, as the score is 50-0. Not much you can do here. Last year, this was a 63-7 loss, and unfortunately, the pace for the time being is significantly worse than that, although I expect that Brother Rice will ease up a bit the rest of this game. But who knows? Jimmy Johnson once said, he put the second stringers in and they were still able to score, and he said, I'm just going to run the plays, and if you can't stop it, you can't stop it. So we'll see what happens the rest of this game. It's 50-0 as Richardson will prepare for the kickoff with 3 minutes left in the first half. And Richardson, is this another touchback? Yes, it is. He has had a touchback on every single kickoff tonight. 7 of 7. And the first one was really his worst kick of the night, where I'm not sure if Zach Ford really touched that ball on that first kickoff by Richardson, but since then he's just been booting it at least 5 yards deep in the end zone every single time. So 50-0 is the score for Brother Rice in the lead. Caleb Hayden in the shotgun, 4 wide receivers out there for the Chargers. Zion Timms in the backfield with Hayden. He'll take the snap. Looking to pass right. Incomplete and nearly intercepted by Richard Sievers. A running clock is in effect here in the first half with about 2:40 left to play. So even on the incomplete pass, the clock will continue to run, as it should at this point, with the 50-0 score. Hayden in the shotgun, takes the snap, and he will be sacked. Loss of about 3 yards. So it'll be 3rd down and 13 for the Chargers. Just over 2 minutes remaining here in the first half. And a 50-0 lead for Brother Rice. And just updated the ALDS between the Indians and the Yankees going into the 12th now. So 3rd and long for the Chargers, with 1:40 left to play here in the first half. Chargers taking their time here to snap this ball. They probably do want to prevent Brother Rice from scoring again. Hayden looking left, going for Jesse McDonald. It's caught at about the 25, but well short of the first down. So it'll be 4th down for St. Joe. And the Chargers, just over a minute left here in the first half. Punt team's not coming out on the field, as they trail 50-0. 4th down and about 4 here for the Chargers with 50 seconds to play first half. Hayden waiting to take the snap, letting this clock run down. About 40 seconds left in this first half. The Chargers will let it run down as far as they can, and then they'll call a timeout with 33 seconds left here in the first half.
Timeout called by St. Joe's.
You are listening to SportsTownChicago.com, sponsored by the Illinois Media School Football Friday Night.
Well, if you're just joining us, this has been a mismatch. It was last season. Coach Rich Petrosky mentioned last night that he was going to have his team ready to play, but it's been a tough night for the Chargers as they trail by half 100 here. Chargers will come back onto the field. And now the punt team has come out for St. Joe. No one deep for Brother Rice, as they were possibly expecting the St. Joe offense to come on the field, so a player will just back up for Brother Rice. As Ford will take the snap. No, it's a fake. He's going to throw it. And it will be intercepted Intercepted there by Cinquinelli. He'll bring it up the near sideline, and he's brought out of bounds inside the 30 with about 19.5 seconds left to play here in the first half.
Interception on the fake punt by number 33, Dominic Murphy. Crusaders will take over.
Murphy had the interception.
Well into Chargers territory here.
So it'll be 1st and 10. They'll just let the clock run down. That will do it for the first half. And at the end of 2 quarters, Brother Rice leading St. Joseph's 50-0.
That is halftime.
You're listening to SportsTownChicago.com.
And at this time, we'd like to remind you that our halftime report is brought to you by Meatheads, the official sponsor of St. Joseph Chargers football. We provide a full-service, made-to-order dining experience serving high-quality, fresh, never-frozen ingredients, including 100% Angus beef hamburgers, hand-breaded chicken tenders, and chicken sandwiches, as well as real Idaho potatoes, freshly cut every day. Meatheads at 143 North York Street in Elmhurst. Once again, that'll do it for the first half. 50-0, Brother Rice leading St. Joseph here on Arena Sportsnet Chicago.